up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So as the title says, we are testing out the new E.L.F. times Dunkin Donuts collection. I have the sponge, the eyeshadow palettes, and the putty primer. So I haven't used any of these things. This is my first impression, so let's do it. I need to lay off the caffeine. Sometimes I can put my hair up in a clip and it looks really cute, but it's only the times when I'm not trying and I can never recreate it. Wait a minute, maybe we've done something here. Have we done something here? All right, so first up are the eyeshadows, and you do get them in a set of 3, which I thought you'd be able to buy them individually because what if you don't like all of them? But you can only buy them in the set. So this is the Dunkin Dozen Eyeshadow Set. This runs for $16 on the Ulta website. The colors in these palettes are supposed to mimic the like sprinkles and the color stories of, if you want to call it a color story of a donut, but like the color stories of the donuts. Do I want to do one eyeshadow on each eye or do them both and make this extra hard for me? Okay, you know what? We're gonna make it hard and we're gonna do a full-on look with each one of these. Take it off, rinse and repeat. Okay, let's brace up for it. Let's start with this one, which is very weirdly mismatched to me. This is the one that's supposed to be inspired by the chocolate frosted with sprinkles donut. So you've got a blue, you've got a yellow, like a champagne rose gold, I guess, kind of tone, and then a bronzy tone. There's a couple of mattes, like there's some mattes in a couple of these, but this one is all shimmer. So I may have to pull into a separate palette for some mattes because I'm not working with only shimmer. I don't even like shimmer anymore. Okay, so just for some like extras, I'm gonna go into the Catrice Instabay palette, which has a couple of mattes in here I'm gonna use. So I'm just gonna set my eyeshadow primer down with this skin tone color. And I'm also gonna go into this matte tan right here, and hopefully that works. I'm hoping it's a very universal shade for this. All right, so there's just a light wash of tan in my crease. So, I don't know where to begin. Actually, let's go ahead and swatch them just to kind of get a feel. Ooh. That's not starting off too good. Here are what the swatches look like. So whenever I first touched this shade right here, it is very dry, not very pigmented at all. Yeah, the gold and the bronze are really the best ones in here. What am I gonna do? That's the thing with these weird collaborations. Like, you know, brands will collab with anybody nowadays. What they're like inspired by just doesn't always make sense. Like, just because you can collab doesn't mean you should. Okay, I feel like the blue is kind of the standout in this, so let's work with that first, I guess. You kind of have to dig into a little bit to get a good amount on there. I'm just gonna pat this on with my finger, and we're just gonna work. We're just gonna work from this. I don't know. When I was in Ulta buying this, there was a worker that went over to the collection and she was like, oh, I've gotta have these eyeshadow palettes. I'm just like, you actually wanna buy them? But this one is pretty sheer. Like, this is not super opaque at all. I'm really trying to pack this on, and it's not doing a whole lot for me. And then it's like sticking to my skin over here. Like, what's going on? All right, so I'm gonna take the yellow gold in here. Like, this isn't even gold. Like, this is yellow. I feel like my little tan transition shade up there isn't really doing a whole lot though. So it's just kind of like sitting there like, wah, wah, wah. Once again, this one is more pigmented than the other one, like the blue one, but it's still one that you really have to build up to actually see. When it mixes, it kind of turns into like this, I mean, blue and yellow make green, but it's mixing to be like a cool kind of thing. Let's try to take this rose gold kind of, what is it? It's like a rose gold slash pinky taupe. I don't know, but I'm gonna put that in my inner corner, hopefully. And once again, that also doesn't really pair well with the other tones. I don't understand. I'm probably gonna get comments of people being like, why did you buy it if you don't even like it? Like, you're being so negative. I'm sorry. Did you want me to sugarcoat for you? Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of at a standstill because I don't really know what to do to incorporate all these shades into one look because I have no idea how to incorporate the brown, like the bronzy shade in here. So let's go into the bronze shade all over the eye and let's just see. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up a little bit higher than I normally would with this kind of like satin finish because I think I can take a fluffy brush and kind of blend it in the crease to make almost like a transition shade, which I've already put down, but we're just gonna try it. So I'm gonna go into a fluffy brush and just kind of blend the edges a little bit. I bet the return rate on this collection is like super high. Let's go into the yellow and let's see if it comes across as less yellow in this way. I'm just gonna put it right in the inner corner. No, it's yellow. Okay, let's do the lighter color in the inner corner again, and let's try to do the blue on the lower lash line. Okay, so I'm just gonna get some on a little brush, and I'm gonna spray it with some setting spray. Hopefully that will help it kind of pop. What? That just does not look good. Okay, I'm gonna do one more thing on this side. I'm gonna take that blue on like a flat eyeshadow brush. I'm gonna try to wet it and pack it on just to see if it applies a little bit better. because I'm just not, I don't know what to do. Okay, so that seems to apply a little bit better. I feel like I need to do, like I need something in the crease. Like it looks empty. I'm gonna try something, okay? Just bear with me. It may not work. We're gonna see. This is the C Color Cosmetics Dusk to Dawn palette, and I'm gonna try to take this matte purple in here and try to infuse it into the look somehow. I'm gonna try to put this in the crease a little bit. I will say this purple is actually looking pretty good with the tones. Like that's what this palette needed. Like instead of the bronze shade in here, which doesn't fit at all, why didn't they put a purple in there? There's purple sprinkles. Yeah, there's like pink and purple sprinkles. I'm gonna take Kreme, which is a matte pink, and I'm gonna try to put that above that in the crease too. Uh-oh, it's a little high, but we're just gonna wing it. All right, so that ties in a lot better with the palette, I feel like. So let me edit this palette for you, okay? It needs a purple and it needs a pink. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the eye. I'm gonna put that purple on the lower lash line over here too. And on this side, I give up. It looks like a big mud puddle. Like it looks like a swamp.
Somebody once told me.
All right, there's some mascara. This side's not bad. I made it work, but it's not great. I swear, if I get comments that say like, you didn't even have a full face on, like you didn't even try, like you don't even have foundation on, of course it doesn't look good, I'm knocking you out of the comment section. Get a good look at the masterpieces that I've created because they're about to be wiped off. Okay, so I've re-primed and I've set that down with some powder. So let's move into the second palette, which is this Strawberry Frosted with Sprinkles, which I feel like is the most cohesive. This shimmer right here is so beautiful. Let me finish, hold on. All right, so there's what the Strawberry Frosted palette looks like. So yeah, this is the one that I have the most hope for. Like this is the one that makes the most sense to me. Okay, so the white shade is a bit chunky, but I feel like it's definitely workable. So I'm gonna do what makes the most sense to me. And I'm gonna start off with the lighter shade of pink in the crease. I'm gonna do both eyes because we're here, we might as well. All right, so there's the pink shade. So it's very, very light. Like it almost doesn't even show up my skin. Like it's not very pigmented at all. So if you're a deeper skin tone or like medium tan and up, it would probably look just super washed out and kind of look like white. Not a fan of that one. I'm gonna take this slightly darker, like dusty pink over here, and you can see glitter in each one. So I hope that that doesn't show up a whole lot on the eyes. Oh, it's not wanting to build up a whole lot. Like I feel like it's pretty much stuck at a light pink. It's coming off as light as the other one. Oh no. All right, so I'm gonna do the glitter now. So I'm really, really excited for this one. Like you can see whenever I move it, like it's this really pretty, like peachy, pinky coral kind of shade. Like I love the duochrome, like iridescent effect that it has. It does swatch a tad bit better than the blue one, but I feel like it's kind of performing like the blue one. Oh no. I'm not gonna like anything in this video, am I? There's one layer with just my finger, so it does look pretty dry. There's not a lot of like sheen to it, so I do want to try to wet it, so let's go ahead and do that. With some setting spray on my finger, I want to dip into some more product and just pat this out and reapply it. Okay, that does make it look a lot smoother, but it's still not super opaque. Okay, I'm gonna go into the chunky white now, which I mean, again, it does have a, you know, it's got like a pinky purple blue iridescent shimmer undertone to it, so it has potential. I'm gonna put it pretty much in the inner corner, like in my tear duct, and then kind of like swoosh it over to meet up with that other shade, and it's not showing up at all. It looks like aluminum foil. Like it makes your eyelid look kind of crepey and like wrinkled, like, you know, like actual like Reynolds wrap. And that's not a good look. But there's what that shade looks like dry. But I do want to go in and wet this one as well. So I'm gonna get some setting spray on my finger. It's very, very chunky. Like it's not a very smooth formula at all. All right, so there's a little bit of mascara. And if you're wondering, I'm using the Essence Lash Princess Curl and Volume Mascara. This is a very pastel monochrome look, which some of you guys may like. I'm really bummed out that these two satin shades that I try to use as mattes look the exact same. Like this one's like one step up from this one in depth, but you can't build it up. Like it's just so sheer. Just like it automatically gets washed out and just kind of like buffs away into nothingness. I mean, it's not as bad as the first palette, I will say that, but I'm still not happy with this one either. It's gotta get better from here, right? Like, it's got to. All right, so I'm moving into the last palette, which is the Boston Cream palette. So it's supposed to be like a Boston Cream donut. You, again, have this weird, like, yellow kind of shade, but this one isn't shimmery. This one is like a satin finish, but it does have sequin. So I guess you would consider this to be a sequin finish. You've got a sequin brown, you've got a matte brown, and then a shimmery, what looks to be like a white gold. So let's go ahead and swatch them. I will say the browns in here do swatch pretty good. Like they are pretty soft, but again, like that yellow just doesn't really do it for me. And then the fact that they put like a pure white shade in here, I mean, it's a white gold, but it does have like a pure white base to it. Like, it's just not cohesive. The glitter in here, the glitters just aren't good. But I mean, the browns do swatch pretty well. And I think that even though they have sequins in them, they could definitely come off as matte. So they might be our saving grace today. I need some caffeine. Like, I feel like this is my alcohol for today. Like, I need a drink. Oh, I don't want to do it, but let's start off with the yellow. And again, please don't defend an eyeshadow palette over me. Like, it shouldn't be this hard. So as expected, it's not showing up as yellow as it is in the pan. But as expected, it is washing itself out. Like, it's not, like there's pigment when you pick it up. Like, there's debris, there's pigment on the brush. Like, it looks like it's going to be pigmented. And then you lay it down and it's like all the pigment just like flies away. Like, you're left with nothing. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Okay, if you're a deeper skin tone, none of these will work. Okay, so I'm gonna go into this little sequins neutral brown here. And again, the browns in this seem fine, but we'll see how they perform. I feel like it's kind of deceiving because it's actually more of a sheer buildable formula. But I mean, that looks pretty good. It is easy to work with. I'm just gonna stipple it on first to hopefully lay it down, and then I'll blend. That seems to be the trick to making this work. So it's a really nice, like, soft brown, but you would expect more pigmentation from a shade that deep. And I don't know why, but I have a feeling that the darker brown, that it's not going to be as dark as what I think. Like, I feel like it's going to look just like this, but let's see. So this one isn't a sequence, it's just a straight flat matte. So yeah, and it is darker. Okay, it is coming off more pigmented than I thought, so I stand corrected. Out of all 12 shadows that I've used today, this one is the best one. So it's time to incorporate that hideous white gold. Oh God. Actually, you know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna take the yellow slash white shade, and I think I'm gonna put that in my inner corner to keep the inner portion of my eyelid bright. There's what that looks like. I mean, it does look kind of off. It's not as bad as what I would think using the white shimmer glitter thing would be. I feel like I have to use it. Oh, I feel like I have to. Okay, we're gonna use it subtly. Okay, let's take it on. Oh, no, you know what? It's not gonna work on a brush, but let's just put it right there in the inner corner and just make it like a pop of brightness. And yeah, no. Okay, going into it with my finger. That's doable. Okay, it's doable. Okay, so before I wipe it off, I did want to show you guys that there is just tons of glitter on my skin. Like, there's so much fallout. So moving into the putty primer. So this is actually supposed to be a glowy putty primer. And I think they actually do have a glowy putty primer, like what is it, like illuminating putty primer or something? Editing Ashley, please let me know. So yeah, it's like this honey yellow kind of color, which is interesting, but it does have very, very fine like gold shimmer throughout the product. So I'm interested to see how that looks on the skin. Hopefully it doesn't actually show up as yellow, which I would assume it wouldn't, but there's what the product looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by putting it in my T-zone, and I may put it all over my face. Like, we'll just see how it works. It's not really filling in my pores, and the putty primer, like the original one, does fill in my pores pretty well. Like, it is pretty blurring. All right, so there's what it looks like all over my face. So it did give me a slight, like, shimmery, dewy essence. It's not super over the top glowy, so if you have really oily skin, I don't think this would make you look shiny or anything. Like, it doesn't really look like I did anything aside from skincare or like any other glowy primer. My skin does feel really soft, and it does look more smoothed over and kind of blurred, but it's just not really enough to make it worthwhile in my opinion. By the way, this is $12, so I think it is a little bit more expensive than the original putty primer. Isn't that one like $6 or something like that? I could be wrong, but actually let's look. Okay, so they do have a luminous putty primer, which is that like light yellow color. Like, this one is more honey in tone, but it doesn't really show up, so it really doesn't matter. The original putty primer is $10. I thought it was $6. My bad. Inflation still hasn't really like set in with me. So let's move on to the sponge and a foundation. Why did I say sponge like that? Sponge. This is the Strawberry Frosted with Sprinkles face sponge, and I gotta say, I'm very interested to see if this actually works, because the shape of this just doesn't feel like it's gonna do much when it comes to applying foundation, and it's very hard. Like, it's soft, like to the touch, but it seems like it's gonna be pretty dense, and I think you can use this wet and dry. Well, yeah, it says can be used wet or dry. Use sponge to apply products and soften and blend by gently bouncing sponge across the face. Yeah, just like, what are you supposed to do? Like, put your finger through here and just like, So I want to try it two different ways. I do want to try it wet and dry. So I'm going to use a foundation that always works for me. Like, this is one that I trust. So if it doesn't look good, it's this thing. So I'm going to use the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. I'm going to go in with it dry first, and let's see how it goes. So I'm going to start off by, it is pretty hard. It's just a weird shape. Like, again, just because you can do a collaboration doesn't mean you should. Is the donut shape cute? Is it like a cute idea? I guess. But is it actually functional? Not fully. How are you supposed to get into like little fine nooks and crannies of your face? And it acts like on the website like, oh, the donut's rounded sides hug the curves of your face for smooth and easy blending, blah, blah, blah. I mean, what do you mean by hugs the curves of your face? Like it's flat. What are you talking about, E.L.F? Okay, so there's what it looks like on the dry side. So it's fine. I mean, it's fine. Okay, so I wet it with warm water as I always do. And this thing blew the hell up. I'm kind of hoping that where it's wet, it kind of like molds a little bit better to all the crevices in my face. So let's do the same thing on the other side. It's just so big. It's just so freaking big.
That's what she said.
I do want to point out that I feel like it is soaking up more product. Like I feel like I had to use less product on this side than the wet side. But I mean, this thing isn't doing a bad job. Like it's not leaving streaks behind. It's not leaving like a spongy texture behind. Like it's pushing everything in very well. It's fine. It's just like the shape of it just, it's not, why am I using a big donut for my face? All right, so there's foundation. So let's attempt some concealer in this little nook and cranny right here. Okay, we're just gonna like squeeze it and like, there's no precision with this thing. So there's the concealer. I mean, it did blend out really fast because it's so big, it's gonna help blend out faster. As far as the dewy primer underneath, I do feel like it added a slight bit of sheen to the foundation. I mean, this is a glowy foundation to begin with, but I do feel like it looks a tad bit different. I don't wanna say I see shimmer underneath, but I can see more iridescence underneath than just what the foundation's giving in the finish. All right, so instead of finishing up the rest of my face, I think I'm gonna call it quits here and I'm gonna do a roundup, but I feel like my thoughts and opinions are pretty clear at this point. I think that the Dunkin Dozen Eyeshadow Set is a total waste of money and time. The Donut Forget Putty Primer isn't bad, but it's also not great. Like I don't think it's special or worth the money, to be honest. If you're going along with the theme of what putty primers in the E.L.F. line do, they're supposed to fill in your pores and blur the skin, and this just doesn't. And I think that it's probably the exact same formula as the illuminating one. Like I haven't tried that one, so I guess I shouldn't say that, but it looks like it's the same thing, just a slightly different color. But no. And then last but certainly not least, the ginormo brick house of a sponge. Again, like who came up with this idea? But you can't scrunch it up enough to make it work well, like around the nose, under the eyes, and between your eyebrows, like in smaller, more, you know, the crevices of your face. So I'm popping back in about 2 hours later. After I was done filming, I actually went in with some cream bronzer and I used my donut sponge to blend it out. It definitely does make the blending process a lot faster where it covers so much real estate, but it 100% for sure soaks up extra product. Like I feel like I had to use like 3 times the amount that I normally use. So that was the most negative video I've done in a while. I honestly just think this entire collection and collaboration was a huge waste of time. It was pointless. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I think that they could have done a better job. It was just lacking in a lot of areas.
Why are you the way that you are? I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
If you've tried anything from this collection, then please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So give this video a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you want to see more drugstore videos. Here's a couple of things for you to check out next. So just venture around the channel, make yourself at home. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and turn the notification bell on to always see my stuff because you never know when I'm going to upload nowadays. And I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.